Hi, my name's Sam Gordon, aka Invasion, and today I'm just going to go through some mixdown processes that I've got for a new track forthcoming on Expression Audio. This is a 140 dubstep tune called Stick Finger. Yes, basically throughout this video, I just want to go through some of the processing that I use for my mixdowns and how I go about most of my projects. I'm going to go through my drum bus and explain some of the processing on the groups there. Also my bass groups and my vibe groups, which is all my atmosphere and vocals. For CPU usage, because it's quite a large file, I've had to bounce it down and so I can play it back on here. And I'm just going to play it from the second drop because I feel like it's got the most frequency content. So it's quite nice to, it would be better to explain about this area. But yeah, have a listen. Okay, so let's just run through the drums first off. So I will speak about the bus processing afterwards. I'm just going to go through my layers at the moment. Sorry. So let's just go on the kick. Kick group is literally just a Pultec EQ and a clipper on top of that. I've got nothing really processed on many of my actual channels because I try and keep it. I feel like the less processing on some things is better for phase issues. Because if I constantly EQ, I know it can help, but I find that just phase issues tend to happen quite a lot. So it's better to just find the sound that you want and try and work with that. Really, that's how I try and do most of my projects. So the kick is, yeah, like I said, it's just got a Pultec EQ, bit of boosting, bit of attenuating around 60 hertz area, and also a clipper, which is hard clipping the kick at around about 2 decibels, 70% clip. I like to clip all of my groups because I find it easier in the end because it pushes through the transients and everything get clipped off nicely. And when you're pushing it through a limiter on the master, it's not getting so jammed. And you know, it can destroy your mix really, I find. Snare group, 3 layers of snare. I've got my rim shot once again, no processing on these. It's just samples that I've used. So I've got the rim shot, a little bit of a layer, and a synthesized snare as well for a bit of smack, bit of clarity. Where the reverb's coming from is this send. So it's going into what I've got down here. So I've just got a Valhalla vintage on this. Just a bit of decay, 100% mix, low cut, so that we keep all the lows out. Just really want to reverb the high end really, so that we don't get any weird muddy frequencies coming through the mix. I've also got a delay one, which is your standard stock delay that Ableton sort of automatically has set up. And I've also got a glue compressor with a bit of makeup just to boost some of the buses as well. A bit of parallel compression seems to be quite good to boost gain. Let's go through my perks bus. Once again, this is just no processing really on any of these. I've got a bit of EQ on this one, purely to just remove some low end out of this bit. Oh, my apologies. So it's sort of like this sound. Just want to keep the low end out of that. Move on to my highs. So these are all my hats and everything. And if I just play this for you now, close black. Okay, so my high-end stuff is, I tried to keep it as quite stereo. Obviously, we like having all our lows in mono, and it sort of has a cone shape going up. That's how I look at my kick drum. Sorry, that's how I look at my drums. So I try and keep all my highs nice and spacious and wide, whilst keeping everything else in mono. And to do that, what I've done, I've just added a bit of texture over the whole group. Once again, like I said, no processing really. It's a bit of a crash expander with the Volcano Fab Filter plugin there. What else have we got? Pancake on this drum loop. So this is a great plugin for panning. It's basically pushing, it's free as well, and it's just pushing it side to side through the headphones so you can hear. And yeah, so I've got that, and I've also got a endless smile which gets automated in some areas. I'll just quickly show you the automation lanes. So as you can see here, it's going up, and I just find this great for drops and just overall changing up some vibe of the tune really. It's also the it's in the family with the sausage fattener as well. It's got that cheeky graphic. Love this plugin. It's great. Bit of a cheap plugin because it's just a reverb and a high pass at the same time, but it's, you know, it's easy to use. Why not use it? So overall on my drum bus, I've got a Soothe plugin, and what this is basically doing is this resonance remover. So it acts as an EQ, but it's basically the opposite. So where you're boosting, you're removing some frequencies that are quite sharp in the ears, followed by some transient shaping with the neutron elements. Not really much going on, to be honest, but only the transient shapers on, tiny bit of attack, a little bit of sustain removal. Sausage fattener, why not? It always sounds good. Haven't put much on it. Followed by a bit of Saturn. And then what I've got following that is my virtual mix rack set up for my drums. Tiny bit of compression going on here with the bomber. And then we've low cut everything from 20 hertz. Probably could go higher. Sorry, 32 hertz. Probably could go higher. But this is just how it sounds in the mix at the moment. Removing a bit of this high end out with these EQs here, and then boosting it back up with some shimmer on the revival. I just find that great for some, creating a bit more space. Sounds really nice and it's clean. Sounds nice and polished. And then lastly, it's just got a trimmer on the end, clipping all the clips off, transient, sorry. Followed by 2 more clippers, another 3 dB of boost and a hard clipper at the end here. And I like using multiple clippers because you tend to get quite a nice sound using loads of different ones. Another technique I've been using as well, I like to group all my bass and vibes together. And then I sidechain my kick and snare with the utility. I don't like using a compressor due to the clicks that you can get from it. And so I use the utility plugin just to automate the kicks and snares, as you can see here. And this has a Soothe plugin on it as well, because I find that if I put this on, it removes that weird clicky sound when it hits 0 decibels. Quite hard to hear at the moment due to my CPU. Okay, so my bass group, Vital, got a bit of Pultec EQ on my sub, some compression for my kick and snare, but this is more on the side frequency stuff really, because I've already got the sidechain working on the full group. Yeah, Camel Crusher here. Basically my basses are all saturated with different saturation. I've got some creative techniques using frequency shifters, reverb, and all that stuff. So on my bass group, I've got another Pultec EQ. I can't actually say how good these are. I love using a Pultec. Seems to really put the air in your bass. This is that little trick where you can boost and attenuate your bass, and it just sounds better. You get a nice airy bass and a clean sub, followed by another virtual mix rack, similar processing, boosting the highs, cutting below 30, so only 16 here, probably could go higher again. Bit shimmer, bit of thickness, and then once again it's clipped. Now on my vibes bus, I've got a lot of things going on. I've got a few endless smiles, some reverb, some delays, a lot of ping pong delay going on in some of these layers. But I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to keep everything, even though it's got lots of reverb, you don't want too much stereo information because you want to have a clean mono mix. So I've put bass mono on most things. And on the vibes bus, I've just got a bit of EQ, a bit of Saturn, sausage fattener once again, virtual mix, what we've got on here, removing some high end, taking out some lows, boosting some of these mid areas. Once again, shimmer and thickness, it seems to be great. Compression just on my snare, I haven't got anything working on that one, so it's a bit pointless. And also coming through on the bass, on the vital. Once again, it's clipped again as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it so far for my Mixdown process. On my master, I tend to, just to boost and get an idea of loudness, I will run a master, just boosting mono, just compressing the mono signal so you can change the stereo sensitivity there. I just want all my mono stuff compressed, really. I don't like crushing my stereo stuff in case you can get weird sounds sometimes. I find weird phasing effects and flangey chorus sounding stuff. If I crush it too much anyway, it sounds like it's an old MP3 in my opinion. But yeah, once again, just hard clipped, boosted by 2. This is just literally just to get the gain sitting right at around -3. Also, whilst I'm doing my mix, I tend to have span open. I've also got a smexoscope just to check what my transients are looking like and how compressed the signal is. And I also use a T5R metering just to check out my sides, my mono. Yeah, this just like to check the LUFS and stereo information. But that's about it. Thank you very much, and I hope that helped. Cheers.